All right, so let's install a set of pads on this John Deere 3038. So I've got this one on, so I'm going to pull the cotter, pull the main pin out. This is the hole where the stabilizer bar is going to drop down through, so you want to make sure that it goes on the inside. So we'll slip the pads over the lift arm, get that lined up. And this will fit right in the notch here. Make sure that it doesn't rotate. You don't want to, these should slide in easily. You might need to give them a light tap with a hammer, but you don't want to force it. I'm going to drop my cotter in and be sure and spread it. You don't want to forget to spread the cotter. Otherwise, you might lose that. Okay. So I've already got the side bolts in, but they're just sitting there. What we want to do next is decide how many shims we're going to put in back here. So you might need none, or you might need all of them. Meaning you might need 2 of them. We could stack the 3/8 and the 1/4 on top of each other. But that's going to have the head of the pats raised up too much. What we want is for the line of the lift arm to continue. So I'm going to put in just the 1/4 inch and the head is dropping down. So let's put in just the 3/8 inch, and that's about as good as we're going to get. So we're going to pull this back off, and I've already got the roll pin driven in the hole here on the 3/8 inch shim. We're going to drop it down inside of the casting. Take the cotter back out, pull the main pin out. So you want to make sure that roll pin is sprung good before you drive it in. You're going to drop it down in the hole with the long end forward. If you don't have room for some reason, you can drop it in with the long end out, but most of the time you're going to be able to put the long end inside the casting. And then let's slide this back on. When we do, it's going to keep the shim in there. It's not going to be able to come out once we put this main pin back in. Again, we'll get our pin there in the groove. We're going to put our cotter back in. And we definitely want to spread the cotter. So hear that. All right, so we've got our 3/8 inch shim. That's the only one we needed. We've got it in there. We've extended the lift arm. Now let's drop our U-bolts in. So the U-bolts are going to go on the back side. There's 2 holes back here that they're going to go down through, and we're going to double nut those to make sure they don't come off. And once we get those on and double nutted, then we're going to decide how we want to secure and snug up these side bolts. All right, and I would tighten these up just a little bit. They're double nutted. They tend to work loose, so some people like to put a little Loctite on them. That'd be all right. If you've got too much hanging down, you could cut a little bit of the bottom of the U-bolt off. That's going to depend on the height of your lift arm, how much you have hanging down there. But you want to get them good and tight, and they're double nutted, so they shouldn't work free. So now we're going to, what we want is for the pats at this point to be coming straight out. As you raise and lower your lift arms, They're going to toe in or toe out a little bit. The smaller the horsepower tractor, the more they're going to toe in and toe out, and that's okay. So if we just spring the latch, got to undo the latch stop here. If we open that up and drop this down, and this is the latch stop that I'm removing. The latch stop, its only job is to hold this latch handle up when you're unhooking, so this is flush. When you're using your pats, if you just put the latch stop over the top of the handle, it gets it out of the way and keeps it from getting bent. But you can tell it's really not strong enough to hold much in place. Its only job is to hold the latch handle open when you're wanting to unhook. So I've got both of these latch handles open, and I'm going to measure and keep these lift arms about 26 inches apart, which they are right now. Okay, and then with them 26 inches apart, I'm going to tighten up these side, snug them up. I'm going to tighten and just snug. They don't have to be, don't want you cranking on them or anything. We're going to tighten these up, and then once you get them tightened up, we're going to run the nut up to touch the casting. So we've got it locked in place and it's not going to go anywhere. So these side bolts are going to touch the lift arm inside of the casting. So I'm just going to snug them up a little, and then I'm going to run those side bolts up there. Okay, let's get that inside one snugged up. Now this one I'm going to tighten a little firmer. And same on this side. Now let's do this one. Make sure we're still at 26. Okay. And again, we want them to be as straightforward as possible. We don't have a lot of adjustment there. So we're going to snug the side bolts up. And then we're going to tighten that inside nut to make sure it stays in place. And do the same thing on the other side. There we go. And we're about ready to go to work. Get that inside nut tight. Okay. All right. Now we're ready to reinstall the 3-point adapter.